Gentlemen, I'm very sorry to announce the sad demise of His Excellency Sheikh Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum, UAE Minister of Finance and the Deputy Ruler of Dubai. But we will be continuing with our conference today and tomorrow. السيدات والسادة المحترمين، ببالغ الأسى ننعى وفاة المغفور له سمو الشيخ حمدان بن راشد آل مكتوم، ولكن نود أن نحيطكم علما بأننا سنستمر في تنفيذ المؤتمر غدا بإذنه تعالى. Our next session will be about digitization in healthcare industry, and it will be presented by Deepak Ahuja, who is the Chief Executive Officer, Entrepreneur, Investor, Board Advisor for Tech Startups, BFSI, Expert Venture Capital as Sahatech. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Deepak Ahuja.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Good afternoon, Honorable Chief Guest, distinguished guest, my co-presenter, speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It's very unfortunate to have that bad news, but as the presenter said, we'll continue with our delivery of the program. The event is under the patronage of Her Excellency Sarah bint Yusuf Al Amri, and we thank her for the patronage. The subject of this event is digitizing your professional future, and I'm sure since morning you've been hearing some great conversation from distinguished speakers. The subject of my conversation is digitization of healthcare industry, and I will briefly also touch upon the insurtech and the edutech, which are both close to my heart because I'm on a day-to-day basis involved in these businesses. I'll be happy to take any questions that you may have on this subjects. I will request that you can send in your questions on the chat room, and then we'll try to answer it towards the last 10-15 minutes of the conversation. A brief introduction about myself before I start about my subject matter. So I've been in the region for almost 25 years. I've been a banker for almost 23 years. Out of those 25 years, I've been a retail banker working with 5 different banks. And my last role was as a director in one of the local banks where I was the head for wealth management, insurance, and mortgages. I've been an entrepreneur since last 2.5 years, and my interests are in insurance area, medical insurance primarily. We have a tech platform, and then I also have education technology, and private banking as my business area. The healthcare industry, I work very closely, and my subject today, the digitization of healthcare industry, I'm sure it touches upon most of our lives as we speak today. So I'll quickly share my presentation for, yeah. So this is the subject of our discussion today, digitization of healthcare industry. Basically, as we know, the healthcare companies have been planning future strategies adopting full digital digitization for their enterprise. Healthcare's digital future looks very promising as patients are more comfortable in using the digital services for complex and sensitive issues such as healthcare and medicines. It's a clear indication for providers and payers to embrace this healthcare digital future by adopting the third wave of digitization. What I mean by that is, in our day-to-day life, we have started utilizing technology, and as everybody keeps saying that, the COVID was the possible catalyst for the digital technology adoption by most of us, because that kind of enabled a lot more digitization that was not happening before pre-COVID. In our industry of healthcare, we have seen a very fast track adoption, and there are multiple subjects that we have today that we can discuss about. So I will focus on 3 primary areas for my discussion. These are emergence of healthcare on demand, growth of medical wearable devices, and role of artificial intelligence. These are the digitization subjects of for me today. And then I'll also touch upon the emergence of insurance technology. Insure technology is nothing but how technology is changing the insurance world big time, and making it more accessible, helping in the customer journey, and bringing some wow experiences for the customers. And then I also touch upon education technology, which, as I said, is area of my interest, as I'm involved in the education technology and education business per se. Now, the first aspect of digitization of healthcare, as I said, is healthcare on demand. Now, what exactly is healthcare on demand? Basically, today, as a patient, we can pick up a mobile application and book our appointments with the doctors. We can even get into teleconsultation with doctors over a Zoom or over app. These are some of the examples of how healthcare on demand has started. It's just like what we have seen in the other areas like Uber or Kareem, as we know in this part of the world. These are examples of travel on demand, and healthcare on demand has different facets, which we'll discuss today. Primarily, for the improvement of convenience and access and reducing the cost, healthcare companies have decided to offer healthcare on demand. These are delivered through many different channels, so we'll be discussing that as well and how they have become very popular. And of course, we will talk about some of the key driving factors. Sorry. On-demand services are current order of the technology-driven world, and it's welcomed by masses, and it has changed the way business across the globe are functioning. Healthcare is an important segment where immediate fulfillment of request means immediate treatment of certain injuries and illness, which definitely works wonders for society. Well, the healthcare is considered as the biggest wealth. We all consider as a health to be our biggest wealth. And if somebody can provide you access to a good doctor when you're suffering from a fever or a severe headache, or help you schedule an appointment with the doctor through technology within that, or a mobile phone, it certainly is a blessing. I'm sure you'll agree. The global healthcare industry is undergoing rapid transformation, where healthcare organizations are inherently striving to improve delivery of their services and are increasingly offering instant access to specialized expertise for cure for certain illnesses which are non-life threatening in the nature. Also, thanks to the introduction of IoT, the Internet of Technology in the healthcare industry, we are on the rapid path for advancement as we adopt newer outlooks towards delivery of such services. There are different markets where there has been a very clear progress on this front. However, US continues to be a clear mature market on healthcare on demand. And as we know, whatever happens in the West usually is followed in this part of the world, and we are seeing those things coming into this market as well. I think during the COVID, when we were not able to step out of our homes, we saw a lot more people preferring to do teleconsultation as a part of the insurance fraternity. We saw this demand coming in from many of our own customers that they don't want to go to the clinics and they would prefer having teleconsultation. So many of the providers in the country decided to offer the services, and I'm sure in your own circle you would have seen usage of this services very often. I mean, today we don't have to really step out of our homes to go and consult a doctor. If you have a chronic problem, the doctors are happy to talk to you over the phone. Also, look at your reports, which can be electronically transferred to them, and they are ready to provide you with the required medication or diagnosis. I think similarly, fixing an appointment with the doctor is much more easier today. In the United States, there are many startups who have done this well, and there are a couple of names which are famous. So there's a company called Heal, which is based in California. It allows doctors to be invited at home, so you can actually get a doctor visiting you in case of emergency or even otherwise. Or there could be a doctor on demand application which facilitates virtual consultation for patients in the form of video chats. It's assumed that almost 250 plus healthcare providers in the country today, as per the statistics available. There are many other companies that are famous in this field. So we have a TeleDoc, a telehealth company using telephone and video conferencing technology to offer on-demand remote medical care. It grants you 24/7 access to the doctors, assuring you constant care round the clock. There's another one which is called HealthTap, with a network of over 107,000 doctors that promises to resolve all your medical queries and offer instant help at any given time. Another key online service available is called Solve Health. It lets the user search by urgent care facility, book the day appointment with ease. Apart from US and UAE, there are other companies that operate out of different geographies who can provide you a quick and quality private ambulances different on-demand service. So it's not just the government sector that provides ambulance care. There are private players who provide you this through the app on healthcare on demand side. What is noteworthy here is extremely high utility of this on-demand healthcare players and their gigantic success over the years, which has been attracting a great deal of investors' attention lately. Obviously, there are startup investors and VC funds who look at such opportunities, and they are very keen to make money in the process. And they definitely support the ecosystem because such businesses cannot happen without investors. So it's a win-win situation for all. The investments are going to surge more with time as we see a bright and promising future for services. Now I'm trying to answer the question number 3 here. What are the channels available? So you can do a healthcare on demand through a phone. You can do it through booking a thing on a website. But the easiest method today is to go through a healthcare app. Basically, a healthcare app is nothing but it's a platform. It's a service provider. It establishes contact between a qualified doctor and the patient. Through this app, the patient can also call doctor on demand anytime, anywhere. The on-demand healthcare app makes medical service accessible all the time. There are certain key features of on-demand healthcare app. It offers an admin module and a client module. The customer may be a patient looking for help or a doctor who's feasible in providing medical aid for a reasonable fee. So just like what you see in Uber or Careem, there are two parties. One is the provider of the service, which is in most cases the car owner who's also driving the car, and then there's a passenger. So here in a healthcare app, we have two parties again. One is a patient, and then there is a doctor who's providing the services. Some of the key features of such app that it's not just used for booking doctor's appointment, but it also keeps giving you a news feed and medical articles. So if you have availed the service, this app can be used to provide certain key information. It gives you current news and update about medicines, medical tools, and any new development that happens in the medical world. This feature is useful for medical learners and professionals for updating regarding the medical care. So this feature of the app is quite useful in many ways. It also provides you to search for medical service providers. This is another must-have character for an app on demand. It can search for medical service provider, either a hospital or it could be individual in the nearby location, because when you are in emergency, you need to know who is going to help you in the most possible way. This feature is very helpful, as I said, in the emergency and preliminary treatment, not at the advanced stage. The other features of this app could be a barcode and a QR reader, because if an app has a very easy reader for the barcode, it helps you to have information like what the pricing and the expiry date and stuff. So when you're buying your medication, this app can be very useful at that point of time. Such apps have now got their inbuilt features where they help you to track your daily routine. So it essentially is to create and monitor a diet for the patient. So you can input what are the kind of food that you're eating and what are the calories. It also helps you to see how much calories are you burning. So there are multiple features that can be incorporated in this app. The benefits of the on-demand healthcare app also are for both hospitals and patients. The doctor, obviously, they can earn a little extra income providing online health services, because doctors work for a particular shift in a clinic or a hospital, but they have also some more time available for teleconsultation. So this is a good source of revenue for them. Some of the significant benefits of online demand app include instant medical services. So as I said, you could have an app that enables the patient to access an expert anytime. Online doctors can share information, precautions for medical emergency with their patient. Scheduling of the appointment has become very easy. Patients can easily get appointments with the doctor in the available slots. They also enhance the brand value of the facility which is providing the medical app. It can be a very useful tool in case of the emergencies. So the online on-demand app provides very efficient help in emergency. The patient gets immediate assistance from the available nearby doctors. The app can help locate nearby doctors and hospitals and also the ambulance facilities. These are some of the key aspects of the online and on-demand healthcare. I'll be very happy to take any questions that could be connected to this. I will now move to my second subject, the growth of wearable devices. As we all know, the wearable healthcare technology has been growing. We all have practically been using some of those things, which I'll cover in my discussion in the next few minutes. Uh, but on the face of it, what is a wearable technology? In terms of wearable technology in healthcare, that includes electronic devices that customers can wear. These are things like Fitbit, smartwatches, uh, sensors which monitor your. Plus, they are also designed to collect data from of the user's personal health and exercise. This device can be used to send the information to the doctor and healthcare professional, and also to the relatives and friends of the user. In such cases, if there is a provision that you have a caretaker who needs to know about your health, that can be provided. The advancement of wearable technology and growing demand from customers to take control of their own health has influenced medical industry greatly. There's a large demand from medical industry to continue improving this. I think during the COVID, we saw much more usage of this technology of wearable devices. In terms of the numbers, the global medical wearable market is projected to reach around 20 billion by 2025, which was just 7.4 billion in 2020. So, a humongous growth that you can see. Some of the examples of wearable devices could be Fitbit. I mean, we all use smart watches of Apple. There could be wearable monitors. There are also self-adhesive patches that allow patients to move around while collecting data on their movement. Their heart rate can be monitored, their respiratory rate can be monitored, and temperature to detect early symptoms of COVID. These are some of the wearable devices that have become very prominent during the COVID. There are also smart oscillometric blood pressure monitor that can measure blood pressure, daily activity. So I think today most of us use something which takes count of your steps, how much distance have you traveled, how many calories have you burned. I think this is a growing demand for wearable devices that have been generated, and it's a booming market for healthcare and related industries. The advancement of wearable technology and growing demand from consumers to take control of their own health has influenced the medical industry, including the insurers, the providers, the technology companies, to develop more wearable devices such as Fitbit and many more. Uh, Now, I think we all know there are the usage of Apple Watch, which was obviously available since 2016, but it's not just a watch that calculates your number of steps. I think they've gone beyond. So it was only used to take time and count step, but I think they did a relaunch, and they came up with a new iteration in 2020 with the new series watch called Apple Watch 6. And it has certain features like you can have your blood oxygen saturation monitored. It can also track your sleep. It's got a ECG sensor, and it also has a healthcare app. So these are some of the fantastic examples of wearable devices which have become very popular in the last few years. Smartwatches allow users to perform tasks they normally do on their phone, read notifications, send simple messages. Even those are the things that can be done through smartwatches, and not just the just medical usage of that. These are great tools to monitor some your health, and also to take advantage of the technology. There are other examples of wearable devices such as the ECG monitor that are now on the cutting edge of consumer electronics. And what sets these monitors apart from smartwatches is their ability to monitor electronic cardiogram or ECG. Uh, some of the recent magazines have given huge award to this Move ECG product. It's able to measure ECG and send reading to a user's doctor as well. It can detect arterial fibrillation. It's also able to track pace, distance, and elevation, as well as automatic tracking of walking, running, and swimming and biking. These are some of the advantages that can come with the ECG monitors. Uh, Wearable blood pressure monitors have become very common. We have a company called Omron Healthcare, which launched it in 2019. It was the first wearable blood pressure monitor. Though it might look like a typical smartwatch, Health Guide, which is the name of the product, is actually an oscillometric blood pressure monitor that can measure blood pressure and daily activity like steps taken, distance traveled, and calories burned. Heart Guide can hold up to 100 readings in memory. So this is a huge advantage where the technology has now allowed you to have memory of your blood pressure up to the 100 last reading that can be done. Plus, there are other examples of usage of technology. So there are biosensors that are coming up, and they have become radically different than the wrist trackers and smartwatch. One of the Philips wearable biosensor is self-adhesive patch that allows patients to monitor around while collecting data on the moment, health, heart rate, respiratory rate, and temperature. There are further advances in the wearable medical technology that are surging. Its maturation is up, will put more wearable technology in the hands of consumers. According to one of the research companies, the number of health apps users will stay about 84 million through 2022. So we're talking about more than 84 million people using wearable technology. This upward trend in wearable fitness technology will influence the decisions of insurers, health providers, companies to take advantage of the benefits of the wearable health monitoring device. Insurance can lessen the rising cost per patient by using wearable devices as a means of increasing customer life value. Wearable technology incentivizes behavior that reduces hospital visits, readmissions due to poor management of personal health. 75% of users agree that wearables help them to engage with their own health, which means that if you have a wearable device, you actually start monitoring your health and your well-being much better. This is a huge advantage because this allows, the reduction on pressure that we have on the healthcare system in the country. It also helps, patients to remain more healthy in the long term and avoid any side effects or long-term effects of a chronic problem that may be facing. I think wearable devices are here to stay. They are a huge future, and the technology keeps improving. I remember in good old days when the diabetic patient had to monitor their blood sugar, they had to use a needle that to prick themselves every time. But today there are things like Freestyle Libre, which are available as a patch on your arm, and through an app which can be installed on your mobile device, a diabetic patient can keep taking readings, and these readings are transmitted to your doctors and your caregivers in the family. So they also know about how your blood sugar levels are triggered. In fact, the technology is going one step forward where this data will be available to your doctor and your physicians real time. And if they monitor the situation, and if you have any incidents of low sugar or high sugar, they can even send you a message on the app to take some immediate medication or some kind of a reaction to prevent anything fatal happening. And this is coming through the advancement of wearable devices. I think here I will stop my wearable device subject. As I said, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them towards the end. I'm now moving to my next subject, which is the role of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has many applications, but in the healthcare, it's been very, very efficient, and it's improving the lives of providers and patients by automating the tasks of for a fraction of cost. I will talk about AI, how it has helped, and in the robotic assisted surgeries. There are AI-powered nursing assistants now available, artificial intelligence-powered virtual reality models for training the doctors, AI support in clinical decisions and diagnostics. Some of the widely used technology developments of, I think there's a question that has come through, which, as I said, I will keep for the end. So I'll go back to my presentation. Yeah, artificial intelligence is making healthcare facilities more efficient, improving the lives providers and patients by automating tasks, and it coming at a very fraction of cost. Speaking of numbers, healthcare AI will undoubtedly become one of the most rapidly growing investments in the industry. While health AI industry valuation stood at $600 million back in 2014, it is expected to hit a whopping 150 billion in 2026. So that gives you a traction that is achieved from the valuation of this AI in healthcare industry. It's gone from $600 million in 2014 to 150 billion that is expected to hit in 2026. Interestingly, artificial intelligence applications in healthcare are quite wide range, and it could be ranging from a surgery at robot to a fast discovery of drugs and everything in between. One of the studies by the Mayo Clinic discovered that incorporating AI into a widely available and cost-effective electronic cardiogram can enable doctors to detect early signs of asymptomatic left ventricle dysfunction with a high level of accuracy. This well-known precursor to the cardiovascular condition is like heart failure. So before the heart attack actually happens, your doctor can actually get early signs of that through a AI-based application. Another team of scientists in eye hospital in London called Mooresfield is collaborating and has developed AI-driven software that sifts through 3D scans to pinpoint up to 50 common eye disease as accurately as the best doctor. So just by use of this AI, you could probably end up diagnosing 50 different common eye disease, which could take a much longer time if it's done manually through the traditional processes. We have to make sure the AI solutions make correct diagnosis, and it's a crucial step in healthcare. However, medical diagnosis in and of itself is an intricate and highly collaborative process that's prone to errors and inconsistencies. In fact, delayed or inaccurate diagnosis, summarily, which is called diagnostic errors, have been rampant in just about every setting in the healthcare and continue to cause harm to unfortunately high number of patients. For instance, postmortem reviews which have been conducted over years have revealed that diagnostic errors lead to around 10% of the deaths in the US. That means an estimated 40 to 80,000 people die in America each year because of diagnostic errors. As if that isn't worrying enough, 5% of adult Americans who visit doctor's office annually experience a diagnostic error. So that gives you a kind of a level of diagnostic error that happen in current situation without the use of AI. For the patients, a diagnostic error puts their health and well-being in jeopardy because it delays or prevents proper treatment and can result in emotional, physical, mental, and even financial repercussion. Diagnostic errors, which can be reduced using the artificial intelligence, also result in most common healthcare malpractice claims. And it's not surprising considering that the errors are 2 times more likely to cause patients death in comparison to other type of claims. All in all, diagnostic errors claim also account for largest percentage of medical malpractice settlements. Given the gravity of diagnostic error, the potential of improving the whole diagnostic process is one of the most accelerating application areas where artificial intelligence is expected to cause systematic shift in the healthcare. Basically, with the usage of AI, we can probably bring down the diagnostic errors considerably. From diagnosing early diabetic to cancer, there are top examples that can depict how AI is helping physicians, clinicians reduce diagnostic errors and deliver. There are multiple examples, but I don't want to dwell in all of them. I probably will talk about 2 examples that are very critical for us in the current context of things. One, as I mentioned, is the Apple Watch. We have been using it. I think it's one of the most preferred product of Apple after the iPhone. The Apple uses artificial intelligence in healthcare. It has got built-in sensors. Apple Watch series leverages the power of AI to detect atrial fibrillation, a cardiovascular condition that characterized by irregular heartbeats. Apple's ECG app enables users to take ECG detecting any skipped, rapid, or errant heartbeats. By monitoring your heartbeat in the background, the app can notify you if the abnormal heartbeat rhythm seems to be a sign of AFib, allowing you to seek medical attention. I mean, this is a wearable device which allows you to have access to your heart condition even before it worsens and you are uh, rushing to the doctor. Apple's AFib detection AI-driven app is quite useful because the condition usually goes unnoticed, especially in the younger population. And we know today the heart attack is coming to much younger population. I mean, only the other day I was reading an article which says that even people between 30 to 45, the number has surged in terms of the people suffering heart attacks, even in UAE, which is very unfortunate. The Center of Disease Control estimates that arterial fibrillation can affect close to 2% of this group and up to 9% of the people who are older than 65. If it goes untreated, AFib can eventually lead to a stroke or heart attack. These are one example of usage of AI, and it's done by one of the most prominent companies, Apple, which is worth trillions of dollars, and they have been able to demonstrate usage of AI. We also know that many universities today and hospitals today train the doctors based on virtual reality models that are powered by artificial intelligence. And it's not uncommon to have those models available for students in a university to help them achieve the same objective of learning. We also heard about the robotic assisted surgeries. Basically, a doctor can be much more efficient and precise using robotic assisted devices which are powered by AI. Now, let me use one more example for a company called Imagine, IMAGAN. Imagine uses artificial intelligence in healthcare. Imagine is an AI tech company which developed an AI-powered diagnostic detector software called OsteoDetect that uses machine learning to identify wrist fractures in adult patients. So fractures in adults are not uncommon, and this particular AI detected machine learning based product helps you to detect them in a very efficient way. Through computer assisted detection platform, doctors can quickly and more accurately spot distal radius fractures. It's an FDA approved solution. The diagnostic solution can benefit myriad healthcare settings, including urgent care facilities, prime care facilities, ER, and so on. It's a great example of artificial intelligence in the healthcare that's used will complement the expertise of radiologists. Basically, it's a combination of usage of the radiologist technology and the AI. COVID-19 has impacted every sector of economy, and I think in terms of the usage of AI and in the healthcare industry, it's been one of the most significant aspect. There are other examples of how electronic health records are being managed using the blockchain as an effective tool, and it also helps in preventing data breaches. The data of patients is one of the big challenge for the hospitals and care companies, and I think accuracy of the data is one, and also is the data storing, which has been achieved by EHR, the electronic health records. There are examples of treating patients in virtual reality, which is another example of AI, the role of that. All in all, I think artificial intelligence is playing a great role in every particular sector of our life, including the healthcare industry. With this, I probably will stop the digitization of healthcare subject. But I also, as I mentioned, I have two more subjects that I have to talk about, and I will continue the discussion around that. Insurance technology, which is very much related to what I mentioned in the healthcare, is playing a very big role. As countries begin to ease COVID-19 restrictions and reopen their economies, insurance carriers will continue to focus on stabilizing their businesses, adjusting to the new ways of working and meeting their customers. For many of those carriers, the crisis has further fueled their innovation ambition and accelerated efforts to adopt a digital-first approach to customer to workers interaction to modernize the technology infrastructure. And insurance tech company will play a key role in helping those carriers achieving this long-term ambition, whether it's a partner or acquisition target. Basically, what is the healthcare or what's the insurtech? Insurtech is a company that helps in digitizing the insurance requirements and making the customer experience much more better. It's the companies which these are the companies which blend a deep knowledge of insurance sector using a tech savvy approach, and this makes life easy for the insurance company, for the brokers, and it's more efficient and simpler way of achieving. There are a lot of examples of innovative technology like AI and data science used to reduce repetitive process and tailor a plan which is understand the customer's need. Insurance technology has gained rapid traction in the last 2-3 years, transforming the customer journey in the insurance industry. I mean, in UAE itself, buying medical insurance a couple of years back was a manual process. If you had to buy medical insurance, you probably had to go through a broker who will offer you 3 or 4 different options, and then you ended up choosing one which was not the most practical one, but because of lack of opportunities and options, you probably would choose one of those which is available. That has also changed in terms of the insurance tech platforms that are available today, and many of them are quite flexible in offering the products that fit you and your requirement. That's one of the greatest achievement of the insurance technology per se. In discussing the challenges of doing business in COVID-19 world, number of insurance leaders, it became clear that operational enablement is key focus for carriers of innovation effort, and they are eager to work with insurtech companies that can improve and enhance their operation. Carriers are accelerating work in such areas as digital customer interaction and distribution, customer service, and claim. These are some of the key areas where insurance tech has been a great player. They're also working to augment their underwriting through use of new data source and decision modeling. They are investing in improvement of data capture, ingestion, especially with regards to unstructured data such as audio, video. They're also looking for ways to improve how data is accessed and shared among different businesses and units and teams, which has become even more important now. At a time of widespread remote work, they're also looking up to leverage remote data capture analysis to support claim submissions and decision making. The property and casualty insurance leaders that have been spoken to, they feel COVID-19 situation has been a powerful accelerant to their innovation. The pandemic has validated digital first approach, and it's also helped them to bring in new perspective. Where efforts to develop digital first counter service and touchless claim process was only once seen as entirely in terms of speed and efficiency, now they are being seen as in terms of protecting health and safety of the customers and employees. A powerful way to build trust with the both groups. At least one carrier is focused on making the vast majority of their claims touchless in near future. For commercial insurance companies, remote risk identification is getting a lot of attention. Carriers are not only looking for ways to make more and more effective use of remote imaging technology to assess underwriting risk, evaluate claims, they're also ramping up efforts to harness power of internet and connected sensors and devices for the same purpose. Life insurance companies, not surprisingly, in the current environment, are driven to fluidless solution for underwriting, such as health data from connected devices or algorithm-based approaches. However, life insurances are also looking for ways to improve the profitability of the underwriting and operations overall. The low interest rate we have seen for past several years, and which seems to be likely to continue for the world recovers from COVID-19 situation, have greatly dampened life carriers' investment return and portfolios. These are the key factors which is making them move into the insurance thing. Now, insurance tech company tend to fall in three broad categories. They are like enablers and partners and challengers. The group aren't mutually exclusive. A new insurance tech carrier may be a B2B technology or as distinct offering. For example, enabler insurance tech provide B2B point solution that are designed to improve an aspect of carrier value chain. Examples including using aerial imagery for data algorithms to improve the underwriting process, deploying digital platforms to help agents and brokers write more and better business, harnessing machine learning to read and manage policies, to help carriers identify, understand, and true policy-related risk, implementing AI-powered chatbots to provide human-like customer service when human representatives aren't available, or installing telematics into the customer's vehicle to enable actual driving behavior to be incorporated in the underwriting claims. I'm sure all of us have seen some of these examples in our life. I'm wanting to talk about one particular example that in terms of motor insurance. Today, telematics is helping insurance companies to put a device in your car which helps them monitor your driving behavior, and based on which your motor insurance premium could be decided. So if you are a very careful driver who observes all the rules and regulation, you probably will end up getting a benefit of being a good customer for the insurance company. The other example of the insurtech is a partner. The insurtech company provides the technology platform on which carrier can create new insurance policies or product. The carrier underwrites the product. The two companies take it to the market. A variable of this is digital NGA, where an insurance technology launches and operates a new insurance brand. The third way of being part of the insurtech is Challenger Insurtech, which is a new standalone licensed insurance carrier on their own, and they represent a growing segment in the insurtech space. Challenges are often companies that decide they no longer want to rely on capital of the carrier. They instead underwrite their own risk themselves and compete with the insurance directly. These insurtech companies may buy underwriting capabilities or acquire shell insurance companies that have licenses. There are a couple of examples of such insurance companies and insurtech companies in the country as well, and I'll be happy to discuss them during my Q&A. Whether an insurtech company is an enabler, partner, or challenger, some insurtech company will be better positioned than others to navigate the challenges of today's uncertain business environment and thrive over the long term. Insurtech that have existing relationship with carriers are in touch in much stronger position than those without such ties, but this is only the determined factor. There are many other ways that the insurance tech company can benefit. Considering the time available now, I will move to my other subject, which is the edutech, which, as I said, is very close to my heart, and I have been closely associated with it. Education technology is something that has gained a large prominence during COVID, with many students not being able to go to the schools. Parents had to rely on online education, and that probably has helped acceptance of education technology, which was becoming very, very difficult before the COVID scenario. I think this technology has been there for many, many years. It basically comprises of the whole world of computer-aided education. The growth and use of online learning continue to expand rapidly due to many advantages that it offers both to teachers and students. While EdTech has been around for longer than most people think, computer-aided learning is simply a natural development arising from improved technology. In the mid 20th century, schools and training centers are already using technology such as copy machines and media learning through training films. Uh, the usage and the technology has improved in the last few years. So today you have virtual reality learning and AI based learning that enables people students to stay at home and still achieve the experience of conducting an experiment in a lab at their home. And this can be achieved in multiple ways by a well designed artificial intelligence and virtual reality product. I think as I mentioned, COVID restricted movement of a lot of kids to the school, while UAE has been successfully in opening the schools in the last few months. There are many parts of the world where kids are still learning online. While it has got a challenge for both teachers and students, some of these education technology companies, as we call them, EdTech, have been able to provide solutions which allow a virtual classroom experience. And I personally gone through a couple of them. They actually are as good as providing an in-person experience for the students. The edtech companies offer numerous advantages. Educators believe that different students learn at different pace and learn best in diverse way. For example, some students learn information best from reading, other benefits from more of audiovisual presentation of information. EduTech offers students the flexibility to access learning from source they find most helpful and effective. A major benefit hailed by online learning students is that being able to access learning and training at their own individual pace and time. This is a clear example where the education technology has enabled a student to learn at their own pace if they are able to cope up, unlike a classroom where they have to be in line with the rest of the class and the teacher has little or no control on how the knowledge has been transferred. The flexibility to access online learning at whatever time is most convenient for a student makes education and ongoing professional training much more available to all type of people in all type of situation. It is particularly helpful to people with full-time job and therefore would find it extremely difficult to attend regular courses at a university. We have a lot of people here in UAE as well who are working, but they also want to keep up their professional development. And I think online learning tool offered by education tech companies has been a huge boom for such people who want to continue having a job as well as continue their learning journey, or CPD as we call it, the continuous professional development. An obvious and essential benefit of EdTech is massive potential cost saving in education. Online e-learning can provide education at the fraction of the cost of attending a major university or even a small community college. The reduced cost of online learning makes obtaining a degree or additional professional certification much more affordable for anyone interested in expanding their knowledge. I'm sure there are certain concerns um, from the parents that the kids are spending a lot of time online, but there is a distinct advantage and benefit. The other theory is that many educational theorists, psychologists, and socialists fear that students learning solely online will suffer from a failure to develop social skills, which they develop when they go to the school by interacting with people and fellow students and teachers. For that reason, educators are cautioning the parents of for children using distance learning should be carefully to arrange regular social interactions with other children through several avenues such as sports activity and field trip. Of course, in the midst of COVID-19 pandemic, virtually everyone is suffering from the absence of ordinary social interaction. So in terms of the benefits of the edtech, it far outweighs the concerns. The social skills that one develops while as a child while going to the school, I think this could be easily achieved in different ways. And I think the education tech companies are trying their best. They are very, very important tool for the teachers as well to achieve the objective of learning and imparting the training. the impact of digitization is there in our life, and I think the three subjects that I've very broadly mentioned today, the healthcare, the insurance tech, and edutech are great examples. I think given that I probably have just 5 minutes remaining, I'll be open to take questions that are coming, and I'll be happy to address any of them.
Deepak, you will find there are a couple of questions posted already for you.
Yeah, I can see one of them. Do you foresee a situation where such device will be prescribed by doctors in near future for patient monitoring, and will such device be covered under insurance schemes? I think this is relevant to the wearable devices that we're talking about. That will the usage of wearable devices become recommended by doctors, and will the insurance companies cover it? I think it's already happening as we speak. So if you look at the chronic patients, for example, the people who have diabetic, for example, the doctors are recommending use of certain patches which can help them monitor the glucose reading, then blood sugar readings throughout the week or 2 weeks. Whether the insurance companies will cover, as of now, I don't think it's part of their coverage, but eventually it's all about demand and supply. And to answer the question in precise way, I would suggest that this medical device, wearable devices will become part of the insurance company's mandate eventually, because just like we have, the other devices which are becoming important part of our life, medical wearable devices such as the glucometer option and the freestyle libres will become part of it. I think with that, I can only see one question, so I will thank everyone for this huge opportunity that was given to me. It's been a pleasure to be part of this prestigious event, and I'm wishing the rest of the speakers all the very best, and I look forward to attending the remaining session with everybody else. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak. It was a very wonderful session. Thanking you also for showcasing the new trends that emerged with the COVID-19